Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to play with Makeup by Mario's Master Metals palette. And you can see here I've already dug in and created these two looks. Now, disclaimer, I actually would not use this palette to create complete looks just by itself, unless I wanted, any one or two of these shades to just really be the center of everything. But the way that I'm going to use it is this is going to be my pop of color, and I'll center a look around it, but this is not a single palette I'm going to use to do completed looks, basically. So what you see on my eyes is just me attempting to use most of the shades on here to give you an idea of what it looks like on the lid. I mean, I'm calling it a complete look, but it wouldn't be a look I would actually wear out. This is strictly for the video's demonstration. Now, I'm going to do swatches of all the shadows when they're dry as is, and then I will also, right on top or underneath them, do a version of it with the mixing medium added in. So the mixing medium that I purchased separately, also by Mario, is this, and it does come with a spatula. You don't need to purchase the mixing medium in order to get the spatula, because you can just take anything. You can take a toothpick, you can take a Q-tip, anything that you can easily clean and wash off would be good. The shadows are very soft and you don't need a lot. So another thing to pay attention to as you go in with whatever tool you use is just to go light-handed, because you only need a little bit to achieve a very dramatic effect. The mixing medium, I talked about it in my other Makeup by Mario video where we looked at his metallics palette. It's very similar to the Mayron mixing medium, so if you do have that or you have another mixing medium, you don't need to get this. So just so you guys are aware. And before we get into the swatches, I do want to talk a little bit, or at least read off of the website, the product description, because to me, of his makeup release, this was what I looked most forward to. And it's not that I've never known or realized you can, amp up shadows by putting a mixing medium or wetting your brush. It's not that. I knew. But I just find it super cool that he wanted to make this as part of his first initial release. And so I can definitely see how it can be really fun to mix the different shades together over time just to play with it, because there's a gold, rose gold, bronze, copper, and silver, but you can mix those shades to get a custom shade from it. So I look forward to be able to do that at some point. So from Mario's website, the way the Master Metals palette is described is it takes shadow to the next level with intense, high coverage and a molten metal payoff. Packed with superfine iridescent pearls, it's formulated with a signature gel powder technology that offers silky, weightless color. As a professional makeup artist, this product always inspires me to play and have fun. And I think that's a pretty good description, because that's exactly what I want to do. I want to play a little bit more with my makeup, but I don't have the expertise or the training to say, let's take some of this and let's take some of that I have, mix it together and apply this medium, and here's something new that I could play. I just wanted to start somewhere with a kit, and it just so happened with his release he had that, so that is why. And it is weightless, in that you would think because you can wet these and make them more dramatic, it's got to be a little bit denser, or else it's going to be diluted. You're not going to get that impact. No, it is actually very weightless. It doesn't feel any different from any eyeshadows that I've used. And while you mix in the medium, it does kind of dilute it, because you turn it into a bit of a watery-like substance. It definitely is so packed with color and pigment that you're not diluting it, or you don't need more of the powdered product to get you to this foil finish. And so that does speak to the formula, that it's silky and weightless and has a lot of pigment and color to it. So let's get on to the swatches. I have all 5 shades on my fingertips. We'll start with rose gold, and then bronze, then we have copper, They swatch beautifully. And this is gold. And then finally, silver. And this silver too is a silvery blue. It's really gorgeous. It's what I have on the outer corner of my left eye. And then you can see here I have the gold. Then on my right eye I have rose gold. And then I blended it into the bronze shade. So the only shade I don't have on my lid today is copper, but we'll still swatch it with the medium mixed into it. This is the silver with the mixing medium added. And this is gold. This is copper. So I think I did a better job with the swatches this time, and I hope that's obvious, like the texture. I think it's described as molten-like, which I think you do see it here. And then this is bronze with the medium added. Yeah, so much more liquidy, molten-like versus the powder swatch. This is rose gold. My favorite shade. So you can really see the difference in the reflective quality of it. And I know I did much better with the swatches this time because it's clean off of my finger, whereas with silver and gold I have so much left over. This is what the tray looks like when you have those products with a mixing medium, is of course much more liquidy. So just to give you guys an idea. Well, let's head on to the demonstration. I'll see you guys at the end. I'm going to start with this bronze color here. And we're going to just kind of take some of that off the top. They're fairly soft, so you don't even have to press very hard. Deposit that on the tray. We're adding, I'm going to start with 1 drop. I'm going to add 1 drop of the Metals Manipulator mixing medium. And then with the brush, just going to get some of that product. I want to make sure that the actual bronze shadow that I pick up versus like how much mixing medium I have on there, it's a good ratio, because I do want the color to be intense. That's the whole point of it. So if there's too much mixing medium, it would probably dilute the actual powder or actual shadow too much. So I think I got a good amount on. We're just going to apply that to kind of from the center of the lid towards the outer corner. We're not too worried about blending everything together right now. Just applying it and make sure there's a good amount on there on the lid. So this is what that looks like. I'd say very foil-like, as expected. Intense look. And I still have some more on the tray. Just gonna grab more of it and put this on top. Yeah, so very intense. First try was like semi-successful in terms of keeping things kind of clean and manageable, but now in preparation for using another shade, I just want to clean off the spatula. And I also actually got some of the bronze right here, so I need to clean that off. Once that's done, we can go on with a different shade. Next, we're going to take rose gold and apply that to the center, to the inner corner of the lid. Once again, I'm just going to use a spatula, and you really only need not that much pressure. You don't even need that much product. What do you guys think? Very intense. I think the rose gold is really, really beautiful. It definitely has a bit more, I would say, purple once you dig into it and you start seeing how it mixes. I could see putting this under my eyes as well. It's such a pretty color. Let's do some blending. and we'll see how they blend as that kind of like the liquid from the medium has dried down a bit. Let's see how they blend. I'm actually going to take Charlotte Tilbury's Eye Pops, a limited edition for fall, and I'm going to dip into this color here because I want to extend the sparkle just lightly upwards. And I'm not really looking for a ton more color because it's just gonna make it look like color without any actual like real blending action. And since we're at it anyway, I'm actually going to take this shade here and apply it just on the crease so we can use that to buff out the bronze shade from the Metals palette. Let me clean off the spatula and the tray since I think there's like too much product on the tray right now between the two shades that it's easy for any other colors that I use to mix in with the rose gold and the bronze. So I'm gonna clean off the tray and we'll be back for the left eye. So this is the tray. It was easy enough to clean. I just used water to rinse off any kind of excess that was sitting on top. And then I used a tissue paper to wipe off anything that was left after. So very easy to clean. It took less than 2 minutes. Next, we're going to take this gold here first. And we're just getting a little bit. It's on the tray now. 1 drop of the mixing medium. Holy, look at that. And that's not even very concentrated. So that tells me you can go really light-handed with your application too. If you didn't want to do like a really kind of standout foil, like all you see is that foil, you could do something that's kind of light-handed. Something tells me the effect I want to achieve for this video, that tells me I need probably a bit more product here. Get a little bit more. I'm going to see with the mixing medium that's left if that's enough to get it going. And next we're going to take silver, which looks to me there is some blue undertone, and I wonder if it's just the lighting or the way it reflects light, but it's definitely a silvery blue. We're going to take some of that and we're going to apply it to sort of the outer corners here and blend it into the crease. I mean, this looks fairly concentrated, but the way it's going on my lid, I'm just trying to pack more on. Okay, I'm gonna give it a moment to just settle and dry a bit, and then we're gonna do some blending. And I'm just gonna try it dry without adding any mixing medium. I'm going to apply another layer on top of the gold here because I just want that to stand out a little bit more after I've blended silver into it, because I want it to be definitely like a pop of gold. And I think this achieved that effect. So just one more or an additional layer of the product dry even just intensifies it a bit more. So I like the idea that you can use the product with the mixing medium, and if you wanted to do a little bit of touch up or just like add a little bit more, you don't actually have to go back to add more mixing medium. You can simply take a brush, get some product on the brush, and then apply that way as well. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and then we'll come back afterwards. And for highlight, I'm just going to use the Master Secret Glow Expensive. This is a clear balm, and I'm just going to apply that onto the high points. And I've been using this as much as I can because it is a product that doesn't dry. It does remain somewhat emollient, but I find that it doesn't budge because typically if a product doesn't dry down, there's always that risk of it not staying in place over time. And the way I feel about the product right now after multiple uses is the good thing is it doesn't budge. There are a lot of highlighters with that glitter in it. As your makeup breaks down throughout the day, naturally, it's gonna move. And by the end of the day, your face looks pretty shiny because it's all over. I guess you could argue that, well, it's the end of the day, you're about to take off your makeup, or you would in the next hour, so what's the big deal? Which is true. Typically by the time I notice, it's just unbearably shiny and reflective, not in the right way. I am about to remove my makeup, so there's that. But I do like a product such as this, it just doesn't move. And whenever I do really like a highlighter and end up recommending it, usually has pretty good staying power to it. So I think it really does speak to this whole idea of a balm that does not budge. And in that sense, it's kind of amazing because it never dries down, but it doesn't move. So unless you go in with a finger and you start smudging it or doing something, or you fall asleep on a pillow or something and you start moving around, that's probably the only time it would move. Otherwise, it just kind of stays intact and it's very glowy. In some ways, it almost just sets the makeup underneath even better. It's like putting this like protective layer over it and nothing underneath moves. That's what I found. So that's certainly a positive. The con about the product never drying is you could touch your face and you realize, oh, there's something sticky on there. Like, oh, okay, that's my balm, that's my highlighter. Or if you were to go out and about on a windy day and your hair starts blowing, like right now you can see it just kind of grabs on. Now this is actually not a big deal because I do that and we're good. We're back to 0 and we're good. It doesn't really, and I don't feel like there's a whole lot of transfer onto my hair either, but I can't recommend this on a windy day if you plan to be outside, or even on a breezy day where you know you're gonna be outside. Like, this is not the product for that. This is the product for your indoors most of the time, or if you're going out for the evening or some event where you will be indoors and you just want that glassy, shiny look. This is instant, which is pretty great. It speaks to the product. It is instant, the effect it has. So this is what the eyeshadows look like now that I have everything on. Now that it's been several minutes, I do want to show you the swatches again with and without mixing medium, so you know what to expect after everything's dried down. So at the very top here, we have the rose gold, and this was with the mixing medium, whereas the one on the bottom did not have any. So that intensity comes through even after it's dry. Again here, this bronze shade was with mixing medium, without the copper with, without the gold with, without. And then the silver is probably the one that you can't tell as much difference. Like even right here, just to the naked eye, when I look at it like this, you can tell because this one here just seems to go across a little bit smoother and very kind of packed on, whereas this is a little bit more sparse. But when you look at it like this, the effect is just very similar between the two. So I wouldn't say the difference is huge, or has the same amount of difference when paired next to these other shades here. But the other four, I find that you get a pretty dramatic difference overall. It's been fun playing with this palette. It was what I had imagined it to be. It does get a little bit messier than I originally anticipated because once you start kind of scraping the top of those eyeshadows, you're gonna get like little residue and kind of kick up from just scraping it. So I do recommend kind of just gently tapping your palette off on a tissue paper or something, just not too hard because the shadow might actually fall out, but just very lightly. And if you do get kind of that kick up onto the other shades, you can always go in with your finger or Q-tip just to get those little dots out. It shouldn't be really difficult. So that's something to be aware of. And I think when I get a chance, I would love to sit down again, mix some of the shades together to see what new shade would come from it. And if I find just the right one, I hope to build a look around it. And if I find something good, I'll be sure to share with you guys in a different video. Let me know below if you have any questions about this palette. Once again, the whole concept of taking shadows, putting it together with a mixing medium to create kind of a new texture or a very amplified, intense look is not new to the industry, but I mean, I do like it. I do like that little kit it comes with. I think it inspires creativity, that's for sure. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.